proposed American River Parkway plan outlines those lands which many of the local citizens are struck. The proposed parkway includes 5,000 acres of land adjoining the American River from Nimbus Dam downstream to the Sacramento River. Most of these lands are almost as they were 100 years ago, when Sutter's Fort was not a museum but the beginning of civilization in this area. Unfortunately, most of these lands are in private ownership. Parkway becomes a reality. These lands will be available to all of the public. Today, only the hardy individual is willing to climb fences and ignore the no trespassing signs. Few have enjoyed the natural beauty and recreational opportunities offered by these lands along the American River. It is a race to catch these lands while they are still free of housing tracts and similar developments. Let us first move from this map to an aerial view of some of these lands. Now let's take a look at how some of this area is used by the few who know how to get to it. In a few places, the county has already planned for park areas on the river. San Juan Meadows, now called Hoffman Park, contains an area called Detterding Woods, where thousands of young children have attended classes over the past few years. These classes were arranged by the San Juan School District and the Citizens Committee for Outdoor Education. From this beginning has sprung the current county plan for making this natural area available to all of the local school districts. A young possum. How exciting to find this here. How much better to feel and to examine it rather than to be a spectator of it at a zoo. A student of nature, he has learned not to disturb nature, so he lets it return. What have they spotted? Here the children have fun along the water. The kids marvel at the big pincers on this crawdaddy. They can always claim it was an accident. Mrs. Effie Yaw, a local conservationist and school teacher, assumes a familiar role with a class of students. She explains that Jedediah Smith is more than just another name in the history books, for this explorer and his men had tramped along these very banks of the American River. She points upstream where gold was discovered, where riders of the Pony Express crossed on their hectic race against time, and to the spot by that big oak tree where once stood the home of Judge Peter Shields. A boy's curiosity is always whetted when there appears to be a small bit of mystery involved. This girl marvels at one of nature's creatures as she holds this caterpillar. She knows that it will go through a miraculous change that will allow it to fly, a graceful butterfly. If one keeps a sharp lookout, many things can be discovered. Boys seem to be born with a natural instinct for discovering creatures of the wild. Like all young boys, this one feels that no outing is complete without something to eat. And he feels that what's good for the boys is good for everything, man or beast. Rather than interfere with nature, he tries to assist it by returning the fledgling to its nest. In the spring of the year, the Sacramento County Horsemen's Association holds its annual American River Pony Express Trail Ride. Starting at the foot of Watt Avenue, this ride follows the river for over 10 miles. 87 persons were participating in this competitive ride, where they could enjoy their surroundings and perhaps be among the few who would win an award. The H Street Bridge is one of the few reminders of civilization encountered by these horsemen. Dr. Eugene Hahn, a director of the Save the American River Association, was chairman of this trail ride. One of the riders has spotted a gray fox. Levees like this one are often the borders that delineate the floodlands which comprise most of the 23-mile-long parkway. This sparrowhawk, having seen riders in his hunting grounds before, appears to be concerned with how much they're going to spoil his hunting. The Nimbus Fish Hatchery is located at the upstream end of the parkway, at the foot of Nimbus Dam, here on the parkway map. These two youngsters, like all children, are attracted to the water and the creatures that grow in and around it. Here at Nimbus, as many as 30,000 salmon come up this river annually from the ocean to fulfill their instinct to spawn and perpetuate their species. Blocked by Nimbus Dam, they can no longer spawn in the upper river. Watch these salmon climb the ladder. This leads them to an artificial spawning place. Well, it's the equivalent of spawning. They are trapped in holding ponds where the hatchery personnel then strip the fishes of their eggs and milk, mix these so that fertilization may occur, then place the eggs in trays in cold water troughs until they hatch. As soon as the fry absorb their yolk sacs, most are released into the river. The rest are placed into these holding ponds where they are fed and protected until they too are released into the river, where they swim downstream to the ocean, there to start the long cycle all over again. Dad promises to bring the kids back another day. In another area, a nature-loving father introduces his daughter to the river and the beauty of the natural areas adjoining it. Sometimes intriguing things can be found. The name Franciso's Dungeon makes one wonder whether it's a relic from the gold mining years of the previous century or just a fancy name for a boy's cave. This young girl has been told that the water in this river has not yet been polluted by man, but private developments along the river could change this quickly. What's this? Quick! Aha! A fine specimen of the gopher snake family. Her father takes this opportunity to acquaint her with the balance of nature, for this harmless snake is useful to man in keeping down the rodent population. He returns it to nature so it may fulfill its function in life. Another lesson, this time to teach his daughter a bit about wildflowers. The Scotch broom grows in a large bush. The red flower, a monkey flower, has chosen a shady location near the water. And by the vivid color and the shape of the petals, one can identify this bloom. There is plenty of time to feel and touch. The brilliant green of the tree frog had caught her eye. A day of adventure, a day of learning. Ah, just one last look. These cliffs between Carmichael and Fair Oaks seem ordinary enough at first glance, but let's look closer. Thousands of bank swallows live in these bluffs. Binoculars allow a much closer view of the nest-building activity. Water seeping through the cliff provides a mud bank for these birds. It is a handy supply of nest-building materials. These swallows, like those in Capistrano, return to this area year after year. Let's join this family for a while, shall we? As it does for all kids, water holds a special magic for these youngsters. A bluegill, a beautiful fish, and not nearly so plentiful on the American River as the trout and the salmon. Naturally, the kids are back to the water. The American River offers many opportunities for children to play safely at the water's edge. And Pop is still fishing or snoozing. On another day, there is considerably more activity here. The Sacramento chapter of the Sierra Club is sponsoring a tour of the American River. Miss Gail LaFortune, a local teacher, has arranged this tour as one of many provided by her committee for the river touring section of the Sierra Club. And someone has to do the dirty work. The first of the over 60 kayaks get into the water to test the current and play a bit before the trip starts. The 3 rafts have been readied and lashed together. For most of those on the rafts, this trip down the river will be their first experience. One is almost forced to take a boat to view the scenic beauty of this river because fences and no trespassing signs presently form a barrier. While not a dangerous river, it is exciting. Some have come from the Bay Area for this. Most of the kayakers pause here to regroup and to practice turning into rapids like this one. This river is a good one for the novice in this sport. All that is required is a kayak, swimming abilities for the inevitable spill, and a love of adventure, excitement, and just plain fun. These people always travel in groups for the instruction and protection of the novice. Where's the raft? Here it is. It travels slower than the kayaks, but provides a better opportunity to observe the attractions of the varying shoreline. Are they wishing that their friends and neighbors could also see the natural beauty that lies hidden here behind those no trespassing signs? River Park, haunt of the sun and swim crowd. This is one of many places where the current is slow. Some come here just to relax. Ah, fishermen. At the foot of the parkway, where the American River flows into the Sacramento, the county is in the process of acquiring the parcel of land on the left, which will be called Discovery Park. Here they plan to develop boat launching facilities. This side is included in the proposed parkway. You have been watching what could be happening every day of the year along the river if this were a publicly owned parkway. Let's take a look at what is actually happening. The graders, which have scraped away the native growth in this area, are already scheduled to level the land for more track houses, just 125 feet from the river. Machines like this one rip and gouge, leaving scars which will remain forever. Can you see beauty in this bank stripped and lined with rock? Where's the rabbit? Where is the wildflower? Litter such as this is inimical to natural beauty. It will inevitably increase and has already reached dump site proportions in some places along the river. Here we see that homes are already built right down to the edge of the river. The owners of these private lands, like this farmer, cannot be expected to welcome you. With proper access, it would not be necessary to climb his fences or cross his field. If you want a parkway where picnics, swimming, boating, fishing, and other recreational pursuits are possible, you can have it. Support the Save the American River Association. Save the American River. Rich in beauty, rich in ore, rich in history, rich in lore. Help us conserve this, your heritage.